about all the better men I should be finding instead. The pressure's like a mountain, it's a heavy crushing weight. So I'm looking for a sweet escape to clean the dirty slate. They say that dress is just desserts if you look at it behind. So I'm looking for the sugar that can occupy my mind. I drove down to the creamery, the one we used to love, underneath the neon sign that's flickering above. I ordered our usual 2 scoops of mint and chocolate chip. The cold felt like a jagged blade against my trembling lip. I sat in our corner booth, prepared to just cry, staring at the empty air where your shoulder used to lie. I was ready for the meltdown, I was ready for the ghost to haunt me in the place where I think I miss you the most. I had my spoon mid-air, a silver weapon in my hand, preparing for the loneliness to swallow me as planned. But then a stranger asked me, is anybody sitting there? And his voice cut through the silence like a breath of mountain air. He didn't see a widow or a girl who's hard to love. He just saw a girl with ice cream and the neon lights above. For a second, the ghost didn't have a seat at the table. For a second, I felt steady, I felt human, I felt able. It's just a scoop of sugar and a name I don't yet know, but it's the first white flag of truce that tells me I can go. He had a napkin in his hand and a smudge upon his sleeve, the kind of clumsy kindness that I didn't quite believe. We talked about the flavors and the best ones in the shop, and I felt the grinding gears of my morning start to stop. He didn't know that mint was the flavor of our first date. He didn't know he was stepping on the oxygen of my fate. He just told a stupid joke about the sprinkles on his cone, and I realized I was laughing and I didn't feel alone. He didn't taste like heartache, he didn't taste like rain. He was a sudden burst of color in a world of static pain. I looked at your side of the booth where the ghost was meant to be, but the stranger leaned in closer and the ghost couldn't see me. I was waiting for the meltdown, waiting for the sting, but I'm listening to the stories that this new voice has to bring. I still have the silver weapon trembling in my hand, but I'm looking at a map of a brand new piece of land. And now a stranger sitting in the seat that used to be yours, opening up windows and unlocking all the doors. He doesn't see the shadow or the girl who's left behind. He just sees a conversation that he's lucky he could find. For a minute, the ghost is just a coat upon the rack. For a minute, I'm not tempted to keep looking at the back. It's more than just the sugar or a name I'm learning now. It's the feeling of a heavy heart finally making its bow. The mint is melting in the bowl, a puddle on the glass, watching all the minutes that I used to let just pass. I used to guard my misery like a treasure in a vault, thinking every happy thought was some kind of fault. But the stranger's still here talking and the light is turning gold. I'm finding a new story that is waiting to be told. He asked me, walking through the ruins of the life that we had planned. I didn't see a replacement or a way to fix the past. I just saw a sudden light that I'm hoping's gonna last. Now the ghost is just a memory, not a master of my time. I'm finally finding rhythm in a life that doesn't rhyme. It started with a dessert and a question in the air, but I'm walking out the door and leaving you there. No more ghosts at the table. The ice cream